Before you touch another comb or book another salon appointment, I want you to try something with me right now. Just a 2-second test, because what you're about to discover might explain a lot more than you think. Stand in front of your mirror, gently lift the crown of your hair with your fingertips, and look closely at your face. Did it brighten? Did your cheekbones suddenly seem higher, your eyes more awake, your whole expression lighter? If it did, here's the truth nobody tells you enough. Your current haircut might be quietly adding years to your face every single day without you ever realizing it, and it has nothing to do with how gray your hair is or how many wrinkles you've earned. It's about where the line falls, how the weight sits, and whether your cut is working with your face or secretly working against it. I've spent so much time watching this exact transformation happen in real chairs with real women, and every single time, it comes down to the same discovery. The right cut doesn't just change your hairstyle, it changes how the whole world reads your face in half a second. And that's exactly what we're doing together in this video, because you deserve to feel as radiant on the outside as you already are underneath. Today, I'm walking you through 7 haircuts that don't just make you look younger, they make you look timeless, effortless, and unmistakably you, starting with a curl-loving transformation, moving through bold, sleek, and romantic options, all the way to a cut so quietly powerful it might just change how you see yourself in the mirror completely, especially the one coming up as number 4, because that one solves a problem almost every woman with shoulder-length hair doesn't even know she has. Before we get there, hit that subscribe button now, because women just like you come here every single week to feel seen, stay stylish, and never fade into the background, and trust me, you will not want to miss what's coming next. Now, let's start with the first cut. The first haircut on our list that will make you look younger and effortlessly elegant is the curly bob. And if you've spent years straightening your natural curl into submission or hiding it under length you thought was safer, I need you to hear this clearly. Your curls were never the problem. The cut was. So many women quietly believe their curl pattern reads as unruly instead of beautiful, and that fear alone has kept gorgeous natural texture hidden under flat irons and heavy layers for decades. But here's what changes everything. When a curly bob is cut right at the chin, it stops fighting your natural pattern and starts following it, letting your curls fall exactly where they want to lift your cheekbones and frame your smile, instead of dragging your whole face downward under unnecessary weight. I once had a woman tell me that after this exact cut, she smiled at her own reflection without hesitation for the first time in years, and that moment has stayed with me, because that's what the right haircut actually does. It doesn't just change your look, it changes how you see yourself. This cut works with virtually every curl type, and it never goes out of style, which is exactly why we call it timeless rather than trendy. It has quietly flattered women for generations, and it will keep doing exactly that for generations more. When you sit in that chair, say this exact phrase, "A chin-length bob for my natural curls, shaped to follow the curl pattern so it lifts and frames my face." But if your curls have always felt like too much to manage, wait until you see what's coming next, because number 2 takes the opposite approach entirely, and it might just be the sleekest, most graphic transformation on this entire list. Number 2 on our list of haircuts that bring back youth and elegance is the asymmetrical Pixie, and I already know what crossed your mind the second you heard that word, because it crosses almost every woman's mind, the fear that a pixie means severe, harsh, or somehow less feminine. Let's put that fear to rest right now, because a well-cut asymmetrical pixie does the exact opposite. It creates instant lift at the crown, sharp definition through the cheekbones, and a side-swept line that keeps every soft, feminine detail fully intact. There is nothing masculine about a cut this deliberately, beautifully shaped. So many of us carry this cut around in our minds as something reserved for other women, braver women, but the truth is, going this short is less about bravery and more about finally choosing yourself without apology. And women who take this leap almost universally describe the same feeling afterward, lighter, sharper, and somehow more themselves than they've felt in years. If thinning hair has been quietly worrying you, this cut solves that in a way longer styles simply cannot, because removing the length that was dragging your hair down instantly makes what's left look fuller, denser, and more alive. And it does something else too. It pairs stunningly with natural silver or gray, catching light in a way that makes every strand look intentional, rather than something to hide or apologize for. This is a cut that photographs beautifully from every angle, because there's no dead weight left to collapse the shape. It holds its lift through an entire day, a full dinner out, an entire flight if you're traveling, and it asks almost nothing of you in return, beyond a light texturizing cream worked through with your fingertips each morning. When you're ready to try it, tell your stylist exactly this: an asymmetrical pixie with soft side-swept layers. Please keep the crown lifted and the nape close for definition. And if you read all of that and thought, that's brave, but I'm just not ready to go quite that short yet, stay with me. Because what's coming up as number 3 keeps every bit of that same effortless lifted energy, just with length left to hold on to. Sliding into number 3 on our journey to looking younger and timeless is the soft shag. And if your hair has started to feel flat, tired, or somehow lifeless no matter what you do to it, I want you to know that's not just something that happens with age. It's usually a cut problem wearing a disguise. So many women blame their hair for going quiet on them, when really, the cut simply stopped giving it anything to move with. The soft shag is the antidote to exactly that, because it's built entirely around face-framing layers that fall right at the cheekbones, combined with a light lift through the crown, and the result is a cut that has movement built directly into its shape, so you're not fighting for volume every morning. The volume is already there, woven into the cut itself. What I love most about this one, and what I always tell women who are nervous about the shag looking messy or undone, is that the secret lies entirely in the texture, not the effort. Work a small amount of texturizing spray or paste through dry hair, scrunching gently from the ends upward rather than brushing it smooth, and you'll get that effortless, lived-in movement that looks completely intentional rather than accidental. This cut is especially transformative if you're fully embracing your silver or gray, because the layered movement catches light in a way that flat, single-length hair simply cannot, making fully silver hair look fuller, brighter, and far more vibrant than it did the day before you sat in that chair. It works beautifully whether you air dry and go, or spend 5 minutes with a diffuser, and it never once demands the kind of daily styling marathon so many of us have quietly given up on. This is a cut that lets your hair do the work while you get on with your actual life, your morning coffee, your errands, your whole day, without a single thought spared for a bad hair moment. And if everything about this effortless energy is speaking to you, but you're craving just a little less length to manage day to day, stay right here, because number 4 takes this exact same lived-in movement and brings it down to one of the easiest lengths on this entire list to maintain. Arriving now at number 4, the cut we teased earlier because it solves a problem almost nobody realizes they have, and that cut is the textured lob. For years, shoulder-length hair has carried this quiet reputation as the safe choice, the practical middle ground, the cut you pick when you can't decide on anything bolder. But here's the truth nobody tells you. When that shoulder-length hair is cut in one blunt, heavy line straight across, it can actually read as tired, flat, and weighed down instead of fresh and put together. The problem was never the length, it was the absence of movement within it. That's exactly where the textured lob changes the entire story, because instead of one heavy line, it's built from micro layers, small, almost invisible cuts worked through the ends and mid-lengths that give the hair somewhere to go. Picture this for a second. You turn your head to check your reflection in a shop window, or you're laughing at something someone just said across the table, and instead of your hair moving as one stiff, solid piece, it catches the motion. It shifts and settles with you. It looks alive rather than styled into stillness. That single detail, hair that actually moves with you instead of sitting like a helmet, is what separates a cut that photographs beautifully from one that photographs flat no matter the angle. And here's what makes this one so versatile. If your hair is fine, These micro layers create the illusion of thickness without ever looking sparse or over-thinned. And if your hair is thick or coarse, that same layering removes bulk and weight, making it easier to style and far less stubborn to manage day to day. Whichever side of that you fall on, there's a version of this cut built specifically for you, which is exactly why it's become one of the most requested lengths for women who want subtlety, with real substance behind it. A warm, sophisticated female voice with a rich tone, ideal for premium narration, lifestyle content, and trustworthy brand storytelling. But if you've been loving the softness of everything so far, and you're ready for something with a little more sharpness, a little more structure, and a lot more definition through the jawline, keep watching, because number 5 brings the boldest, most sculpted transformation on this entire list. Now we've arrived at number 5, the boldest, most sculpted transformation we promised you, the chin-length blunt cut with soft layers. And this one speaks directly to one of the most common frustrations you've probably felt, but never quite put into words. That softening feeling along the jawline that makes your whole face read as less defined than it used to be. Here's what most women don't realize. You don't need a procedure to counteract that. You need the right line of hair sitting in exactly the right place, and a structured blunt cut ending precisely at the chin does something remarkable. It draws a crisp, deliberate edge right along your jawline, giving the entire lower half of your face a sharper, more lifted structure the moment you walk out of the salon. This isn't a soft, undefined shape. It's intentional. It's architectural. And that's exactly why it works so powerfully for anyone who wants their features to look more sculpted rather than more blurred. There's a second benefit hiding inside this cut too, because that even, blunt length reads as instantly fuller and healthier than layered ends ever could. Every strand ending at the same clean line creates the visual density that thinning or fine hair often loses over time, so you get structure and volume in a single cut. I'll tell you honestly, out of every request I hear from women who want polish without a lengthy daily routine, this is one of the ones I hear most often, because it delivers a finished, put-together look in minutes, whether you're smoothing it sleek and straight or adding one soft bend at the ends with a curling iron for a slightly more relaxed finish. It photographs beautifully under any lighting. It holds its shape through a full day of meetings, dinners, or travel, and it never once looks like it requires effort, even though the structure behind it is doing quiet, powerful work. This cut proves that sharp and youthful aren't opposites. They're often the exact same thing when the line is placed correctly. But if everything about sharp, sculpted structure has you nodding along, and you're now craving something that trades definition for pure softness, movement, and quiet romance instead, stay close, because number 6 might be the most effortlessly elegant cut on this entire list. Landing softly into number 6, the effortlessly elegant cut we promised you. This is the French bob, and it exists to solve a problem that a standard bob quietly leaves behind, that heaviness at the ends that drags everything downward instead of lifting it. You've probably felt this before, a bob that looked sharp and fresh the moment you left the salon, only to feel flat and lifeless by the following morning, and that happens because straight-cut ends have nowhere to go but down. The French bob rewrites that entire shape. Its ends curve gently inward, hugging the jawline instead of falling straight past it, and that small, deliberate curve does something almost magical. It acts like a light reflector, catching brightness and bouncing it upward toward your cheekbones and your smile, instead of letting it fall toward your chin. This is the chapter where timeless truly earns its place in our title, because there is nothing trendy about this shape. It has quietly defined effortless elegance for decades, worn beautifully by women who let their hair go fully silver and discovered that this exact curve makes every strand of gray look intentional, sophisticated, and utterly refined rather than something to camouflage. Picture the kind of woman who steps out for coffee without trying too hard, her hair catching the light as she turns to greet a friend. Soft, polished, unmistakably put together, that is the quiet power living inside this cut. Elegance that never once looks like effort. It moves naturally rather than sitting stiff. It works with a slight wave or worn perfectly sleek, and it never falls into that helmet-like stiffness so many blunt cuts risk. When you're ready to bring this into your own life, tell your stylist exactly this: a chin-length bob with the ends curved gently inward, light texture through the length for movement, and a soft side part. This is a cut that doesn't just shape your hair, it reshapes the way a room reads your whole presence the moment you walk into it. And now, we've arrived at the final haircut on this list, the one every single cut before it has quietly been building toward, the most foundational, most requested transformation of them all. So stay with me for just one more moment, because number 7 might end up being the one you needed most. And now, finally, we've reached number 7, the cut every single one before it has quietly been building toward, the chin-length bob with crown layers and a soft side bang. And I want you to really sit with this one, because it proves something important. You don't need the boldest or most dramatic cut to see the biggest transformation. Sometimes the simplest shape, done with real precision, outperforms everything else on the list. Here's the problem this cut solves that so many women don't even realize they're dealing with. A plain, chin-length bob, cut without any thought to crown volume, tends to collapse by midday, the weight settles, the shape falls flat, and suddenly all the attention in your face drifts downward toward your jaw instead of upward toward your eyes, where you actually want it. Light layering through the crown fixes that instantly, acting like a hidden frame that holds lift and volume through your entire day, no matter how many hours you're in it. And when you pair that with a soft, side-swept bang grazing the forehead, you create what I like to think of as an invisible arrow, gently guiding every glance upward toward your eyes and your smile, instead of settling on your chin. I'll tell you honestly, this cut is especially beautiful if you wear glasses, because instead of your frames and your hair competing for attention or dividing your face into separate pieces, they blend together in a way that feels balanced, intentional, and effortlessly put together. When you're ready, walk into that salon chair and say exactly this: a chin-length bob with light crown layers and a soft side bang. Please keep the ends airy enough to move. And that brings us full circle, because if there's one thing we hope you're walking away with today, it's this: none of these 7 cuts, the curly bob, the asymmetrical pixie, the soft shag, the textured lob, the chin-length blunt cut, the French bob, or this final classic bob, were ever really about chasing youth for its own sake. They were about something deeper, stepping fully into the confident, radiant, timeless version of yourself that's been there all along, just waiting for the right shape to reveal her. We believe every single one of us deserves to catch our reflection and feel something close to delight, not critique. And that belief is exactly why we're here every week, breaking down the details that actually make a difference, not just the trends that come and go. If today gave you even one moment of that feeling, do us a favor and hit that subscribe button right now, because women just like you come back here every single week to stay stylish, feel seen, and never fade quietly into the background, and we would love nothing more than to have you with us for the next one. Thank you so much for spending this time with us today. We'll see you in the very next video.